Hey everyone, welcome back to True Crime Buzz. I am your host Amber, and with me live from the closet is Brittany.
Yes, always live from the closet these days. Place I thought I'd never be again.
Oh my god. Listen, we've recorded under blankets. I think I've recorded in a closet or two. You gotta do what you gotta do.
Yep, you do.
Other podcasters out there understand the struggle.
Yes, I'm sure.
Well, anyways, you drinking something?
Drinking a Diet Sam's Cola.
Nice and cold?
Yeah, it's very, very cold, and it's so good. What about you? What are you drinking?
I'm actually back to my red wine, but it's not Rex Goliath.
The audacity.
I know. No, listen, lately I've been not drinking wine as much. So I've been having like one or two glasses and then the bottle just sits there.
Yeah.
And you can't have it after like 2 or 3 days. It just goes nasty.
It does.
So I've been wasting a lot of red wine, and that is just a sin in my book. So I got boxed wine, and it's black box Cabernet.
Okay.
It's all right. It's not amazing, but it'll last 6 weeks. And it's better for the environment, man.
Yeah. Know what I'm saying?
Apparently, yeah. All right, what's your personal true crime story for this week?
Well, my personal true crime for this week happened today, and it was that I had ordered some shirts for my kids, and my mother-in-law ordered my son a new dresser, and when UPS came, I wasn't even expecting the dresser today. It was supposed to be here Monday, but when UPS came, they're like, "Oh, we have your dresser," and I was like, "Okay." They're like, "You might want to look at it first." The box was all to hell. A whole corner was ripped off of it. Stuff had come flying out of it. And I didn't know what to do. I'm like, because first off, I didn't pay for it. Second off, I've never had to like refuse a package. I didn't even know that was a thing.
Yeah, I didn't either.
I tried calling my husband. He didn't answer. He was at work. So I was like, what should I do? He's like, well, it's up to you. You can refuse it or I can leave it here. You can check to see if the stuff's all there. If it's there and it's not damaged, you can just keep it. And I was like, all right, let's do that. And he, was real nice. He marked it down that it was damaged and that he just dropped it off. Not that, I saw it that way, which was great. But my son really needs a dresser because I gave his little sister his other dresser. So his clothes are in bins.
Right.
UPS said they would not come pick that box of broken, messed up dresser up for 8 days.
8 days.
8 days.
So, it's just going to sit this, giant crumbled mess in your house for 8 days until they come get it. And y'all, she sent me the picture before we got on here to record, and it looked like someone took a baseball bat to it. Purposely messed that box up.
My husband was so heated. He was heated, and he told UPS, he said, "I am not touching it." Because they're like, "Well, is there anything missing?" He's like, "I'm not touching it." He said, "I tried to move it just inside because it's raining, and it kept falling apart."
Yeah, it's like pieces.
I have it covered with the tarp because that's the best I can do.
Get a permanent marker and write to UPS with love.
With
Wait
love.
for them to come get it.
I'll draw a middle finger on that bitch.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, what about you? Any personal true crimes?
This whole week has been a true crime. It's been a really shitty week.
It has.
Which sucks because for all of October was amazing.
Yes.
My favorite month. I was in a good mood. Nothing really bad happened. And then this week, it was like everything just kind of fell apart. I don't know. It was like one bad thing after another after another.
It was.
With my job, I got a new computer, and even just going from a personal computer to a new one and transferring all your stuff over and all your bookmarks and all that, it's just so tedious, and none of my stuff was working right. And I call IT because that's always fun.
Yeah.
And they're like, we're busy. We'll put in a ticket and get back to you. And that was 4 days ago. It's just been one headache after the next. And in the meantime, my old computer is sitting here in a box. So we both have box issues.
Yes,
just
we
taking
do.
up space in our house.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not sure when they're going to take it back. So now I have to keep my cat out of my office because he's trying to chew all the cords.
Poor Bernard.
It's just, yeah.
Neither of us have had a good week. This is the good part.
Week.
This is the good part of the week right here.
This is, yes, my favorite part of the week. I've been looking forward to this.
Yes.
Does that say something when you're having, I swear I saw a meme about this, when you're having a bad day or a bad week and it's I need to calm down and relax with some true crime documentaries.
Yeah, that's a fact.
I
don't know what that says about us, but it says something.
I don't either, but it's true. So here we are, folks.
Yeah.
So as far as real true crime, what are we talking about today?
So today I am covering a case that is shrouded in mystery and has eluded law enforcement for 29 years. A mom, her daughter, and her daughter's best friend vanished into thin air after a celebratory milestone for the girls. Today I'm covering the Springfield Three. First off, let me just tell you, I didn't make this correlation till I was going over my opener. But this sounds like this very well could be me, you, and Barbara.
Oh.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Well, I mean, just because it's a daughter, her best friend, and her mom.
There you go.
And I feel like that would be us.
Yeah, I don't want to think of it that way. That's going to make me sad.
Yeah, I just was reading that and I was like, oh my God, it's us. We've gone to the Bigfoot Festival and gone missing.
The Asheville Three?
The Asheville Three.
Oh, Lord. So you're telling me that this is our third unsolved case in a row?
Is it really?
Sorry, guys. Yes, it is.
Oh my God.
Our spooky true crimes were both technically unsolved. Mine definitely was, and yours is like...
Well, no. I mean, mine was...
but nobody really knows what the fuck happened.
Well, no, but they know who killed the person. Like, the guy. And that was the crime.
Yeah, but like, what caused the mayhem?
Well, that's a psychology unsolved. That's not an unsolved crime. Okay?
Did we ever solve the case of how you pronounce mayhem, by the way?
Mayhem.
Mayhem.
Mayhem!
Is that like April turkey or July chicken? It's mayhem.
It's mayhem.
Okay.
My dad says it that way. I determined. That's where I got it from.
From your dad? Mm-hmm. All right, so back to the Springfield Three.
Yes. Sherrill Elizabeth Levitt was born on November 11th, 1944, and grew up to be a cosmetologist and a very involved single mom to a son, Brett Streeter, and a daughter. Sherrill's daughter was born on March 9th, 1973, and her name was Suzanne Elizabeth Streeter, but all her friends affectionately called her Suzie. Suzie had a very close relationship with her mom. And Suzie's best friend was Stacy Kathleen McCall, and she was born on April 23rd, 1974. Stephanie Appleby, who was a friend of Stacy and Suzie, said in 2017, quote, "They were wonderful people, fun people, just normal people," end quote.
I'm already sad about this.
Well, it's bizarre, okay? I like to call this the Hinterkaifeck effect of Missouri, and you'll see why.
Oh, okay.
So on June 6th, 1992, Suzie, who was 19, and Stacy, who was 18, graduated from Kickapoo High School.
Kickapoo.
Right? Like, what a wild name.
Yes.
Kickapoo. I want to know their cheers. Don't you?
Oh my God.
A Kickapoo, a Kickayou. I don't know. I don't know.
Y'all, me and Brittany used to cheer together, and
Yes.
some of the cheers we had to do were just straight up embarrassing.
They are.
But we did them with a smile on our face and glitter on our cheeks.
It was a day to celebrate, and so the girls celebrated. And this is where our timeline begins. The timeline is kind of before they went to some graduation parties. It's kind of like unknown. They were seen in Battlefield. Who knows? That's not really so much important, I guess, but it's just who knows. They were seen in Battlefield, but then they went to a couple of graduation parties before heading over to their friend Janelle Kirby's.
So they kind of bounced around.
Yeah, bounced around. Maybe they went to like the gas station or something. I don't know. But they went to graduation parties, and then they went over to Janelle Kirby's. Meanwhile, Sherrill, the mom, talked to a friend around 11:15 p.m. about her plans to paint an armoire. So she was planning to do that.
Okay, so we're pretty late into the evening now,
Yes.
right?
Yep.
Okay.
When Suzie and Stacy finally arrived at Janelle's, where they had planned to stay the night, they determined it was too crowded and immediately decided to head back to Suzie's. They were last seen leaving Janelle's at 2 a.m.
Ooh, party gals.
Yeah, that's not even that late.
2 a.m.?
I mean, now, for us now, but not when you're 18 or 19. Like, think about my 21st birthday. I think we were out till like 5 a.m.
Well, that's a 21st birthday. You have to stay out all night. I'm talking... Graduation, I'm pretty sure I was home by midnight. I'm an old lady.
I don't even know what I did for graduation night. I think I went out to eat with my family. So the girls headed to Suzie's house at 1717 East Delmar Street, and it's assumed that the girls made it to Suzie's because their jewelry, purses, and vehicles were all there the next day.
Okay.
So the next day was June 7th, 1992, and at around 9 a.m., Janelle Kirby, the girl they were going to stay the night with,
Yes.
And her boyfriend came by Susie's after Suzie and Stacy didn't show up at Janelle's. They had all originally made plans to go to a nearby water park and were all supposed to meet up at Janelle's and leave from there. But the girls never showed up. So, they were concerned, or like maybe they're running late, decided to stop by. Once Janelle and her boyfriend arrived at Susie's, they noticed the front door was unlocked and let themselves in. They also had noticed that the porch light shade, just the shade, which was glass, was shattered, but the bulb was still intact.
The literal light bulb just went off in my brain. I've heard this story before.
Well, pretend you haven't. Have you really?
Yeah, it's a weird one.
Yeah.
I listen to other crime podcasts, and I remember one of them I listened to covered this story, and I remember thinking this is the craziest story, and I still don't know, but I can't wait to hear your take on it.
Okay, well.
But I specifically remember the light bulb thing.
Yeah, because that's weird.
Yeah.
They went through the house looking for Sherrill, Suzie, or Stacy, but could not find them. Janelle and her boyfriend swept up the glass on the porch and threw it away, thinking the ladies might have stepped out for a minute or went for a walk. So they waited a while, and while they waited, they kept Susie's dog, a Yorkie, who was agitated, company. She was real agitated, they said. While they were there, Janelle answered 2 back-to-back calls on the home phone. She said the calls were, quote, strange and disturbing, end quote. It was a man's voice who made sexual innuendos.
Yeah, like, what the fuck?
What the fuck? I don't know. Like, I want to know what the sexual innuendos are. I'm like, can somebody tell me? Probably not, but I want to know. Several hours later, after Janelle and her boyfriend had left, Janice McCall, which is Stacy's mom, who had been trying to reach Stacy repeatedly, showed up looking for Stacy. When she got inside the house, she noticed Sherrill, Suzie, and Stacy's pocketbooks were in the living room floor. She also noticed Sherrill and Susie's cigarettes were in the house, and that Stacy's clothes had been neatly folded in the living room.
Wait, so were these the clothes that she was last wearing, or were they just random laundry?
I assume that it's the clothes, like she changed into her pajamas once she got to Susie's house and just folded up those clothes, set them on the floor, and was in her PJs.
Gotcha.
Because they were neatly folded. I mean, unless you've got, like, a person that's come and killed you and, like, was real careful with your clothes. I don't know. But I assume that that's what happened. Janice McCall became super worried, and she frantically called the police from inside the house 16 hours after the girls were last seen. Which, of course, like, she didn't know she was missing.
Right, and this was an overnight thing.
Yeah, and this is a different time. There were not cell phones, people. There were home phones, okay?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this was the early 90s.
If you call and someone didn't answer, it didn't mean they were ignoring your call or you should be worried. They might be at the grocery store. No way to call you,
Exactly. Unless you had a pager.
That's right. Beep, beep.
Oh, God, I can just feel another gray hair poking out right now.
Mm-hmm. She reported all 3 ladies missing. After she placed the call to the police, she decided to check the answering machine to see if any of the ladies had left a message. But instead she heard a, quote, strange message, end quote, which she accidentally deleted, which, look, answering machines were not voicemails.
No. And even voicemails can be easy to delete.
They can, but sometimes you could probably recover them now very easily, whereas back in the day, that's not as easy to do. Police were interested in the message on the answering machine, hoping that it might contain a clue, but unfortunately they were unable to recover it. Strangely enough, though, they don't believe the calls Janelle received, the sexual calls, and the message that Janice McCall heard were related, which...
Why wouldn't they be?
I kind of feel like they are. I don't know.
They have to be.
I think they are, but what do I know? I'm not there. I'm not the person that did this, so let us know what you think.
The answer is yes, but whatever.
Yes. If you answer anything but yes, you're wrong.
It's like that circle where it's like red or blue.
Yes, and red. Like, also yes, but in blue.
Yes.
Yeah.
Since 1998, Stamps.com has been an indispensable tool for nearly 1 million businesses. Stamps.com brings the services of the U.S. Postal Service and UPS shipping right to your computer. Whether you're an office sending invoices, a side hustle Etsy shop, or a full-blown warehouse shipping out orders, Stamps.com will make your life easier. All you need is a computer and a standard printer. No special supplies or equipment. And within minutes, you're up and running, printing official postage for any letter, any package, anywhere you want to send. And you'll get exclusive discounts on postage and shipping from USPS and UPS. Once your mail is ready, just schedule a pickup or drop it off. No traffic, no lines. Cut the confusion out of shipping. With Stamps.com's new Rate Advisor tool, you can compare shipping rates and timelines to easily find the best option. Save time and money with Stamps.com. There's no risk, and with our promo code POD, you get a special offer that includes a 4-week trial plus free postage and a digital scale. No long-term commitments or contracts. Just go to Stamps.com, click on the microphone at the top of the homepage, and type in POD. That's Stamps.com, promo code POD POD. Stamps.com. Never go to the post office again.
Throughout the day, worried friends and family stopped by Sherrill's. Police estimate that 10 to 20 people compromised the crime scene that day. Like, what the fuck? Somebody goes missing, you just go show up at the house, like, walking
and start
around.
answering their phone and...
Right, though?
Like...
Well, I mean, the glass being swept up, the message being erased, like...
Yeah.
So many things. And, I mean, of course, people just trekking in and out, like, I don't know. That's what reminds me about Hinterkaifeck, because, you know, they were just taking people on tours through the crime scene, and I was like,
right?
Is this that?
But do we find a foot?
There's a foot!
There's a foot! I'll never forget that.
You laughed pretty good about that. Once police arrived, they noted that there were no signs of a struggle, besides the porch light. Literally nothing was missing, besides, of course, Sherrill, Suzie, and Stacy. All money, cars, the dog, and personal property were untouched. They also noted that it looked like Sherrill's bed had been slept in. So it's entirely possible that whatever happened to them, they were asleep when it happened. Because, you know, obviously the girls made it back there. The bed looked like it had been slept in. I mean, police might think that about my bed. And if they come to you and they say that, you tell them that's a bold-faced lie, because that bitch never makes her bed unless she's having company. Okay.
These are the things that only your best friend knows.
Well, and now all of our listeners. You know, get the word out. Get the word out.
Well, I mean, the least that our listeners can do is, you know, to help out should anything, God forbid, ever happen to either one of us.
Yes.
Y'all the real MVPs.
However, since the crime scene had been heavily contaminated and there weren't many clues, police had hardly anything to go off of or look into. Someone did say that they had seen a green van at the house that day. Friends, neighbors, families, and even strangers showed up to help police search for the missing women. They searched rural and suburban areas all around the area, including Lake Springfield, Joplin, Stockton, and Forsyth. People hung up posters and handed out flyers, and some of those flyers are still in windows today at stores.
Oh, that's heartbreaking.
It is.
Now, this is the early 90s, so obviously fingerprinting is a thing, but
Yeah.
DNA, was there any fingerprints, DNA, anything?
Nothing that was showing up at that point. I mean, and hard to say, because I'm sure there were lots of fingerprints and footprints and all sorts of things from where people had just
But it was contaminated.
Right, yeah. Very difficult to say, like, oh, you know. Because here's the thing, had someone they knew committed that crime and they had also been in that house, like, how would you tell the difference, you know?
Right, okay.
The FBI and Missouri State Highway Patrol and lots of other law enforcement agencies assisted in the extensive search for Sherrill, Suzie, and Stacy. On December 31st, 1992, America's Most Wanted got a call on their hotline with information about the disappearance of the women. But when the operator attempted to transfer the call to Springfield PD, the call accidentally got disconnected. Which, like, don't you know that operator was like, what the fuck?
You know.
Like,
yeah.
They had to be so pissed. The police publicly pleaded for the caller to contact them, but they never did. However, authorities claimed the caller had, quote, prime knowledge of the abductions, end quote.
What?
Yeah, evidently whatever they told the operator was like maybe something that only the police knew about, you know?
Did they pass that information along even though they couldn't connect the call?
Yes, because I think, so the operator was like, okay, oh, you've got, and like, this sounds legit, let me pass you on, and, you know, then it got disconnected, and of course they didn't have all the details, so this person had more details, but got disconnected, so.
Okay. Well, thank God for that little bit.
Yeah, I guess.
Because every little bit helps.
Yeah, I wish they would have called back, though. I wish.
Yeah.
In 1993, 40 acres in Webster County were searched by investigators, and a search warrant confirmed that they were looking for Sherrill, Suzie, and Stacy. However, nothing was found there. In an interesting turn of events, a man that had been in Springfield at the time of the women's disappearance and had been questioned by police, his alibi was he was home alone in bed at his parents'.
That's a lie.
Thank you. Suspicious as fuck.
Like, I'm by myself. Oh, but then my parents can vouch for me. Okay.
Yeah. Like, I mean,
I'd be like my alibi being like, oh, I was hanging out with Brittany.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
I mean, was I? Yes. But are you going to lie for me? Yes.
Yeah. Or, the fact is, if it's bedtime, his parents were probably asleep. And we all know that when your parents are asleep, you can still leave the house and come back.
Well, that too. You either are sneaking out or they're going to lie for you.
Yes. Either way. That's not rock solid to me.
No.
This guy had also been convicted for killing a woman in Florida, and his name was Robert Cox. Robert Cox, in 1996, decided he would do an interview with KY3 investigative reporter Dennis Graves. So Dennis Graves travels to Texas, where Robert Cox is currently at this time incarcerated, and Dennis, hoping to get some answers about the Springfield Three, asked Robert Cox about it. He went in depth with this guy, okay? And they had this exchange during this interview that went like this. Robert, I know that they are dead. I'll say that, and I know that. Dennis, that's not a theory. Robert, I just know that they are dead. That's not my theory. I just know that. There's no doubt about it. And then Robert Cox refused to say another fucking word.
And this is the guy with the shitty alibi that they believe may have had something to do with it.
Correct. And they questioned him, but his shitty alibi, you know. But police, they're like, oh shit about this, interview. And the interview was subpoenaed and brought before a grand jury in 1996, but the jury never handed down any charges. Robert Cox did say that he would say what happened to the women after his mom died. Because I guess he didn't want to...
Whoa, what?
Yep.
No.
Yep.
I'm about to flip this table. This all went nowhere, basically.
Yeah, because the grand jury didn't... I mean, that's not really much to, pull down charges on somebody for, And, he's never said he was involved. He just said he knew, so...
Yeah, but still, what the fuck?
Right?
Whether you did it or you know what happened and you didn't do it, but you're an asshole.
Absolutely.
And you should be just as fucking guilty.
Laundries. Excuse me. Sorry.
Don't even get us started on that subject.
Oh, dirty laundries.
Oh, okay.
Anyways, so no, nothing's happened with that. In 2002, police were called to a concrete company in Webster County after two people called police saying that there were two men in a green van and one resembled a guy that was wanted in a different cold case. Mm-hmm. Cadaver dogs were brought out and they hit on 3 spots and bones were found. However, after further testing, the bones were too old to belong to Sherrill, Suzie, or Stacy. So that's somebody else.
So they found some other cold case. Oh, God.
Which, that's the thing, and I've never thought about that, but, they find a lot of stuff when they're looking for people.
Oh, yeah.
That's happened with this whole Gabby Petito thing. There's been so many other people found.
How many was there? 9?
I think it was 9 the last, and who knows? Who knows what it is now.
In just searching for this one asshole.
Yep.
These are the things that keep me up at night.
I'm telling you. You and me both, girl. Of course, many tips have come in over the years, and in April 2003, some of those tips took authorities to some farmland south of the town of Cassville. They dug huge holes with backhoes, but only came across 2 possible pieces of evidence. A section of a green vehicle, perhaps the green van, that was named in 1992, and possible blood. And that doesn't give me a whole lot of information. Is it a shirt? Is it what? But it's possible blood. The blood was sent to a specialized lab and tested, but the results came back inconclusive. So I guess it must not have been enough, or enough that they could link it, Mm-hmm. In 2007, speculation that Sherrill, Suzie, and Stacy were buried under the foundations of the parking garage at Cox Hospital began, and construction on the parking garage had begun in September of '93, over a year after the Springfield Three went missing. And so, a crime reporter named Kathy Baird invited a mechanical engineer named Rick Norland to scan the parking garage with the ground-penetrating radar. So Rick came out and scanned, and he said he found, quote, 3 anomalies that were roughly the same size and were consistent with the gravesite location. 2 of the anomalies were parallel, and the third was perpendicular, end quote.
And then?
You're about to be disappointed.
It's I know this is an unsolved case, but it's I'm still waiting for that,
And yeah, well, like, and now they're looking into that or whatever, right? Yeah, I get that. Police spokesperson Linda Cox basically dismissed the findings, saying that the person who gave the tip basically had no rhyme or reason for the theory when they made the tip or afterwards. And a former assistant at the Greene County Prosecutor's Office, Daryl Moore, has said that the tip came from someone who, quote, claimed to be a psychic or claimed to have a dream or vision about the case, end quote. The spokesperson Linda Cox also cited that the parking garage hadn't been built till a year after the disappearances, and she said, quote, digging up the area and subsequently reconstructing this structure would be extremely costly, and without any reasonable belief that the bodies could be located here, it's illogical to do so, and for those reasons, SPD does not intend to. Investigators have determined this lead not to be credible, end quote. And that was pretty much the end of the parking garage ordeal.
So this bitch is basically saying they're not worth our time and money.
That's kind of how it feels, but I'm sure the hospital wouldn't be like, yes, dig up our parking garage so that we have to, like, rebuild it. So she would probably have to prove that, you know.
But if the guy came out and picked up anomalies, it's not them asking them to dig it up based on, oh, so-and-so told Bobby Sue and, you know, blah, blah, blah. It's legit.
Also, the guy scanned the corner of it and found these, so like you wouldn't even have to do the whole fucking parking garage.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
I know it's infuriating. In February 2019, Bart Streeter, Susie's brother and Sherrill's son, was arrested in Tennessee on disorderly conduct, suspicion of public intoxication, and attempted false imprisonment in an unrelated situation. And in case you're like me and totally forgot that Bart existed and didn't even question where he was the night his mom and sister and Stacy went missing.
Guilty.
I totally forgot.
I was like, who?
Right? I mentioned him very briefly because that's all there was, you know? So I'm here to tell you I have no fucking clue where he was at. But I can tell you he was investigated years ago and eliminated as a suspect. So he probably had like an alibi or something. Was that a friend's house or, you know? Mm-hmm. There have been books and shows about the Springfield Three, and most recently a Springfield native and New York journalist named Anne Roderick Jones started a podcast about the disappearance of Sherrill, Suzie, and Stacy. It's called The Springfield Three, A Small Town Disappearance. So y'all please go give that a listen. If you have further interest in this case, we will link it in our show notes. It's probably much more in depth than my one episode. I know that there's at least 8 episodes, if not more.
Okay.
Sherrill and Suzie were declared legally dead in 1997, although their case files are still officially filed under missing persons. Stacy's mom, Janice McCall, refuses to declare Stacy dead, saying, quote, until I know 100% that Stacy is deceased, I will never declare her dead. They're going to have to find some remains somewhere before I call her legally dead. It's not for any reason other than if I do and she's not dead, think of how mad she'd be when she gets back.
Oh, yeah. No, I would feel the same way.
It's not so fucking sweet, though.
It is. I'm with her, though. Unless you've got some physical evidence that they are dead, I would refuse to believe it, too.
Yes. If you have any information about the disappearances or circumstances of Sherrill, Suzie, or Stacy, please call the Springfield Police Department at 417-864-1810. Again, that's 417-864-1810. And I will give you a description of each of the ladies. Sherrill Levitt was 47 when she disappeared. She was 5 feet tall, 100 pounds, and was described as having short blonde hair and brown eyes. Suzie Streeter was 19 when she disappeared. She was 5 feet 2 inches tall and 102 pounds and described as having shoulder-length blonde hair and brown eyes. Some distinguishing marks on Suzie were a scar on her upper right forearm, a small mole on the left corner of her mouth, and that she had both of her ears pierced, but that the left one was pierced twice. Stacy McCall was 18 when she went missing, and she was 5 feet 3 inches tall and 120 pounds, and she's described as having long, dark blonde hair and light eyes. And with that, I will leave you with this heartbreaking quote.
My heart's already broken.
I know. From 2017, from Stacy's mom, Janice. Quote, I expected her home that night, the next day, maybe even a couple of days afterward. Never in my wildest imagination did I ever think that it would be 25 years later and I would be saying Stacy is missing. End quote.
Oh.
I know, but like, of course that's what you think. Like, oh, they're going to find her. She'll be home like tomorrow, or if not tomorrow, maybe a couple days.
Yeah.
Also, I don't know if you guys knew, but if you go to like Wikipedia and look up like how long somebody's been missing, it gives you like literally the years, month, and day countdown. So,
Yeah, I've noticed that too.
which is sad.
So literally nothing since...
No, I mean, there seems like some things there that could be explored, and I don't know if they are being explored or why they haven't been further explored. The thing is, somebody had to see something, somebody has to know something, and it just takes like one call, and these people could have closure and peace.
Yeah, that's all they want.
And like, I would love if they were alive, but I don't think after 29 years that that's a safe bet. Any updates, of course, we will update you. So,
Oh, absolutely. We'll be screaming that from the rooftops.
yes,
This was a really sad story,
it was.
but I gotta say how many times my tongue is bleeding from having to stop myself from singing Stacy's mom every time you said that.
Mom. Yeah, I feel that though.
Love our podcast? Then hit that subscribe button and leave us a review.
We're also on Patreon. Head on over to patreon.com/truecrimebuzz and join today for access to all our exclusive content, including bonus episodes.
You can also find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at TC Buzz Podcast.
And check out our website at www.truecrimebuzz.com.
Until next time, cheers!